If you got 1% better at one thing every single day for a year, you wouldn't end up 365% better. You'd end up 37 times better. That's not a motivational quote. That's compound math, the same math your bank uses to grow interest, except this time, it's growing you. And here's the part nobody tells you, it works backwards too. Get 1% worse every day, and by the end of the year, you're not slightly behind. You're close to zero. Most people go their whole life without hearing this clearly explained. That's not because it's complicated. It's because it's almost too simple to take seriously. Stick with me for the next few minutes. This might be the last motivational video you ever need. In 2003, British cycling was a punchline in the sport. 100 years of competing. Almost nothing to show for it. One of the top bike manufacturers in Europe reportedly refused to sell bikes to the team because whatever the team touched didn't win. Then Dave Brailsford became performance director. And he didn't do what everyone expected. He didn't bring in a miracle training program. He didn't promise gold medals in a press conference. He asked one quiet question: what if we improved everything by just 1%? Not one big thing. Everything. A little. They redesigned the bike seats for comfort. They tested different fabrics for less wind resistance. They brought a surgeon in to teach the team how to wash their hands properly because one cold, at the wrong time, could cost a medal. They tested pillows and mattresses because sleep quality affects recovery. They even painted the inside of their equipment truck white so they could spot tiny grains of dust that might damage a bike's performance, dust invisible against any other color. Reporters mocked it. Competitors ignored it. None of these things looked like the reason anyone wins an Olympic medal. 5 years later, at the Beijing Olympics, British cycling won 60% of the gold medals available in the sport. 3 years after that, in 2012, a British rider won the Tour de France for the first time in the 100-plus-year history of the race. Then it happened again. And again. By 2017, that same team had racked up 178 world championships and 66 Olympic or Paralympic gold medals, and was considered the most successful team in cycling history. Nobody got dramatically talented overnight. There was no secret gene, no miracle supplement. There was just 1%, stacked on 1%, on 1%, until the stack became something the rest of the world couldn't catch up to. The math behind it. Let's slow down on the actual math, because this is where it gets real. 1.01, raised to the power of 365, that's improving by 1% every day for a year equals 37.78. Not 3.7. Not 37%. 37 times. Now flip it. 0.99 to the power of 365, getting 1% worse every day equals 0.03. You don't end up behind. You end up almost nothing. Same effort direction. Same daily size. Wildly different destination. That gap isn't created by one decision. It's created by which direction you're compounding in every single day without noticing. Why this feels false at first. Here's why almost nobody sticks with this long enough to see it work. 1% feels like nothing. So your brain tells you it's doing nothing. You read 10 pages of a book and think, this isn't changing my life. You do 20 minutes at the gym and think, I don't look any different. What's the point? You save a small amount of money and think, this is too small to matter. So people quit not because the method failed, but because it was invisible for a while, and invisible felt like fake. Think about a plane taking off. For most of the runway, from the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. The plane is just moving. Slowly. No lift. No change in altitude. Then, at one specific point near the end of the runway, it leaves the ground entirely and it looks sudden, almost magical, to anyone watching. But nothing sudden happened. The whole runway was the build-up. The takeoff was just the moment it became visible. If you've been doing the small things and it doesn't feel like anything is changing, you're not failing. You might just still be on the runway. And the PEO. Noble who quit at minute 40 of the runway never find out they were seconds from lifting off. The other side, why warning signs get ignored. Now here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. If 1% better is invisible, so is 1% worse. The extra hour of scrolling instead of sleeping invisible today. The meal skip for something that no longer really feeds your goals invisible today. The excuse that says I'll start Monday invisible today. Nobody's life falls apart in one dramatic day. It erodes in 100 days that each felt like nothing. That's what makes this rule dangerous as much as powerful. You are compounding right now, in one direction or the other, whether you're paying attention to it or not. There's no neutral. Standing still is actually still 1% in a direction usually not the one you want. How to actually apply this? So how do you use this? Starting today, without burning out in 2 weeks like most people do. First, pick one area. Just one. Trying to fix your health, your money, your relationships, and your mindset all in the same week is how ambitious people quit by day 9. Ask yourself, which one area, if it improved, would make the others easier too? For most people, that's health, focus, or money because those 3 touch everything else. Second, shrink the action until it feels almost too small to count. Not read more, read 1 page. Not get fit, do 5 push-ups. Not save money, move a small, fixed amount into savings before you touch your account today. The size of the action isn't the point. The point is making it an action you genuinely cannot say no to, even on your worst day. Third, make it visible. A tally on your wall. A note in your phone. A simple checkbox. What you can see, you tend to repeat. What stays invisible gets forgotten by Thursday. Fourth, protect the streak, not the size. This is the rule almost nobody follows, and it's the one that actually determines whether you're still doing this in 6 months. On your hardest day, protect the habit by shrinking it, not skipping it. 1 page instead of 10. 1 push-up instead of 20. 1 sentence in your journal instead of a full page. The streak is what compounds. The size, on any given day, is negotiable. Fifth, review monthly, not daily. Daily, 1% feels like nothing. That's normal, expected, and not a sign of failure. Give yourself permission to feel unimpressed today. But once a month, look back. That's usually the first place the compound curve becomes visible, even if it's small. That's your evidence the runway is working. The turn. Here's the part most videos about this rule leave out entirely. 1% better and 1% worse look almost identical, day to day. That's what makes this rule quietly dangerous, not just powerful. The version of you that skips the gym just today, and the version of you that goes just today right now, this week look the same. Same body. Same bank account, same relationships, same life, but rewind the tape a year from now, and one of them is unrecognizable. Not because of one big decision, because of what they did on the 100 ordinary days when it felt like it didn't matter at all. So the real question was never, what's my big goal for this year? The real question, every single day, is smaller and quieter than that. Did today move me 1% toward the life I want, or 1% away from it? Most people never ask that question. That's exactly why most people wake up 5 years from now, in the same place, wondering what happened. You don't need a new year to start this. You don't need Monday. You don't need to feel ready, motivated, or inspired. You need one action small enough that you can't talk yourself out of it, repeated especially on the days you don't feel like it. That's the entire rule. It was never a secret. It was just too small for most people to take seriously until it wasn't. If this shifted something in you, subscribe. This channel exists for exactly this, helping you build a life on purpose, one intentional decision at a time. And tell me in the comments, what's the 1% action you're starting today? I read every single one.